The Sonic Movie Show is a weekly podcast that you can find on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Just search for The Sonic Movie Show and give us a like wherever you listen. What's up, guys? Welcome to the 21st inaugural episode of The Sonic Movie Show, the only show that finally saw a movie named after the podcast itself. That's right, they named the movie after us. 21 episodes in. I'm Ethan. With me is Devin.
Good morning, my rural chum.
That is a quote from the Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, which we just saw. We literally got out of the theater an hour ago. I sped home. He probably could have walked and beat me home.
I don't know about that.
To the theater. We just saw Sonic the Hedgehog in theaters the day before Valentine's Day. Would you believe it or not? And we have thoughts. We have a bunch of thoughts about this movie. We're going to dive straight in, but before we actually go into the nitty-gritty and just spoil the heck out of this movie, we're going to give some non-spoilery thoughts. These are thoughts that we think that someone that has seen the trailers, the TV spots, and not seen the movie isn't going to be upset about.
Correct.
If you are upset, you know what? Write in the comments and give us a 5-star review and tell us why you didn't like this non-spoilery comments. So yeah, let's so give me your overall thoughts about the movie. What did you like this movie?
Yes.
You seemed hesitant there.
No, I'm saying yes in the sense like I just can't believe it. We've been doing this show. Well, we took like a big hiatus, but we've been doing the show since April or May of last year. And just this whole journey episodes. And this whole journey of we don't know what we were going to get. And I'm happy to say that my goal was to come out of the theater happy, pleased, and I think it exceeded that. So yeah, I liked it. I mean, I'm not going to say I loved it, but my goal was to like it and be happy, and I'm very happy.
So do you think that this movie exceeded your expectations?
Yes, because I think our expectations were really low to begin with.
47% on the interest meter.
Yeah, and I will say it definitely that interest meter ticked up within the last couple days because we saw some tweets saying that, you know, this movie was good.
Starting to get a little antsy. Be like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to see Sonic. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're like, it's Christmas Eve and you can't go to sleep because Sonic's going to come down your chimney.
No, you still love Christmas. So, no, I'm very, very pleased.
For me, the excitement rose from a 47 when I started seeing Ben Schwartz did like a press tour about the movie. I started seeing a bunch of video game specific outlets tweeting about interview and stuff, clips that they did. I know you and I both watched a Polygon interview that, you know, it's Ben Schwartz with a guy from Polygon. And then I saw, and he watched a speedrunner at IGN, speedrun Sonic 2. And for me, both of these two showcase to me that, no, this Ben Schwartz guy really actually does care about Sonic, the character, the games, etc. He's
wants
not
to do a good job.
And he knows some of the stuff, you know what I mean? He's not going to know everything.
You shouldn't have to either, yeah.
I don't expect anyone, honestly. Someone could be playing Mickey Mouse and not know any of them. Do you know Mickey Mouse's famous catchphrase?
No.
See, neither do I. I don't think he has one. No, like he seemed like a genuine dude that like is actually interested in the thing. I've seen a lot of actor interviewees or whatever on parts and things like an IGN up at noon type of interview thing, and they always just seem bare bones interested in what's going on or whatever. But
I have to say nice things because I get a paycheck at the end of this. So
Ben Schwartz actually interrupting a question to point out something that was interesting or whatever, like not being like, yep, I agree or whatever, but like he like, you know, interrupted the dude from Polygon a couple of times and actually asking him questions and stuff like that. And it seemed like he was engaged enough. So that gave me the impression that he was going to do a good job because he cares about his performance. So, and there was both of those things. He made the joke about please people buy tickets so he can be in a second one. That's how my interest went up. Your interest went up because of proximitation to the theater. I'm sure you could hear the fans cheering for Sonic as they were coming out.
I'm like, oh no. Can't hold my energy. Well, did you like it? You didn't say if you liked it.
That's right. Did I like the movie? I liked the movie a lot. It definitely exceeded my expectations. I actually kind of agree with you that I did not love it. but I did like the movie. There were definitely moments where I'm like, oh, I get that reference, or I get this here. It put a smile on my face a couple times. Some of the jokes from the trailers, I think, hit better in the movie.
I would agree.
I think a lot of moments in the trailers are cut. There's a science to cutting a trailer. And a lot of part of that science is cutting out pieces in between filler and a joke, or like splice two lines together that are like several dozens of minutes apart to form a different kind of sentence to get a mood across. I think a lot of those lines actually worked pretty well in the movie.
I was going to say, this isn't a spoiler, that the movie is supposed to be funny. I mean, Sonic's a funny character. I will say the humor, I thought some jokes didn't land, but there's a lot more jokes that I wasn't really sure going in what kind of humor we're going to get. Like, I know it's Jim Carrey. I've liked Jim Carrey since I was a kid. You know, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, all those. You know, he has this shtick, and he definitely did some of that stuff. And I will say that it reminded me a lot of old Jim Carrey. I will say there's some moments where I'm like, I feel like a kid again. And then there was also jokes that I didn't feel landed, but it was mostly because I think they're just dumb jokes for kids to laugh at. Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. You know,
there's definitely a couple moments in the movie where I'm like, they could have done something different, but they did it this way because the audience is supposed to be really young, and maybe they would roll their eyes at it or find it funny. It's aimed at them.
Mm-hmm. It's a kids movie first, I think. 100%. I wasn't really sure if they were going to go for more like, I was going to say is it going to be more of a family film? Is it going to be specifically for kids first? Or is it going to be more of a teen, rated film? Mm-hmm. And I think they went for kids first. So like, this has to be fun for kids first, and then maybe parents later. I mean,
I think they nailed that.
I think they did too, because Ben Schwartz did just a great job, by the way, I think, of Sonic. If anything, like, I forgot it was him. Like, it sounded like the Sonic we know and love.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately. I'm not, and this is, like, I don't know the other voice actors or the most recent one, but it reminded me a lot of the most recent one. And he nailed Sonic 100%. Give him a Grammy.
A Grammy? You mean an Oscar? I mean, his singing voice, it means Sonic. No, I do agree. I think Ben Schwartz did a really good job. He kind of melted into the role, I think, really well. And yeah, like, there wasn't a moment where I'm like, this doesn't feel like Sonic. This doesn't sound like Sonic. Like, I forgot that, like, this wasn't Sonic that we know. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this isn't a spoiler because we've seen in the trailer, this take on Sonic is a little bit different than how some of the games and the cartoons, etc., have taken the character. This is completely different, but it still felt very Sonic enough. And I didn't feel like, oh, well, I don't know. I don't feel like Sonic would have done this. Or I don't think Sonic would have done that.
Everything
Sonic-like. Felt like it would have been a thing Sonic would have done.
But there was also different things. It wasn't like a carbon copy of something you might have seen in a video game or in the game itself. They definitely did different things with it. Not going to spoil that, obviously.
Yeah.
That was still, I hate to say realistic for Sonic, but I guess true to his character.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz did a really good job. I do. So you gave your opinion on Jim Carrey. I came into the movie being like, Jim Carrey is here to put butts in seats. That's why they, got him specifically. Not necessarily because of any specific way of style for his comedy, actually enhancing the film or something like that. I didn't really think any of the parts from the trailer that involved him were laugh out loud or exceptional. I thought they were like, this movie could go really badly. I came in like that, and I actually walked away being like, he did actually a really good job. I actually really liked him in the
as Dr. Ivo Robotnik.
Yep, although I don't think that they actually call him Ivo in the movie.
That's what the credited cast says on IMDb.
Okay.
It's official.
Okay, fair enough.
Official
fair
canon.
Enough. Yeah, there's a scene early on in the movie where I'm like, all right, I am now in for this. I think James Marsden, whose character I learned in the movie was named Tom.
Tom Wachowski. Yes.
I had no idea what his
We
character was.
We knew he was a sheriff. I don't know if they ever mentioned it. I mean, I know he had like a badge in the trailer of his like last name on it, but I don't think we knew his first name or anything like that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on him? Just not his character, but how he did.
I actually think he was a lot funnier than I expected his character to be. I figured the dynamic between him and Sonic was going to be, the straight man versus the funny man kind of humor, right? Sonic does something goofy, crazy, and he's like, oh, or something like, that's not how this works, or, that kind of dynamic. And he was a lot funnier than I expected him to be. There was actually moments that he did that made me laugh more than stuff that Sonic had done or Jim Carrey's character had done. So I was actually really surprised about him.
I would
Looking
agree.
Good.
I would agree, because there's definitely moments where I think he didn't steal the show, but like he definitely shined out of the other characters in certain scenes or whatnot.
I think an easy way to put it is that leading up to this movie, people, if you would have said, who are the characters, they would have said Sonic and Robotnik, and everyone else is secondary. I do think that the people definitely, obviously he's going to be credited third between those two actors, but people definitely, I think, didn't expect him to be like, not as important to the movie. Obviously he's going to be important to the movie, but didn't really expect to like really care about him. And I think he did a really good job.
It's not really a shot at him, but just like he's not the big name guy. I mean, the only way we know him is from he's Cyclops in X-Men. That's been the joke on this show, is that he's Cyclops. And after seeing this, I'm like, maybe I have to check out his other movies he's been in. Maybe he hasn't been given a fair shake, you know what I mean, in other films. Who knows? Definitely more interested in his career now.
I don't really know what else he's done, to be honest. Maybe we should have done an episode on that. I think he did really good. I think she was in the first trailer. What's the actress's name?
Tika Sumpter.
Miss Sumter did Sumter. Sorry, she did a really good job in the character as well, in her character in the movie as well. And I think some of the other tertiary characters were pretty good. There was a couple where I'm like, all right, we don't really need to see these people on screen. Let's move on. But they kept the cast really small so they could focus on Sonic and James Marsden. And I think everyone else around was only there to amplify our main characters, not necessarily trying to like deviate from something else. So
I was gonna say, I can tell that this movie was on a small budget just because of how there was a lack of characters, and also once we get into spoilers, we can talk about a little bit more about the setting and whatnot, and how like they're able to use that setting to save money. So, not saying that's a bad thing. You got to cut corners sometimes as a director.
The movie definitely doesn't feel like it's a grand scope. It does feel small, but I don't necessarily feel like
that's not a negative.
Had anything going against it.
I'm just saying I could tell that this wasn't the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like they didn't. It wasn't. There was. You can tell that there was probably $200 million at the maximum put into this film.
We both agree that the scope of the movie felt small. They kept the number of locations and events to a minimum, but really used that to amplify the characters, which I think it was effective in doing that kind of stuff. Is there any other non-spoilery things you can think of that you feel like can add to whether or not you recommend this movie?
I would say that if you liked Detective Pikachu, and maybe you feel like most video game movies are bad, which is true, give this movie a chance, or at least support it. Even if you don't like it, please support this film. That's how much not saying I loved it, once again, but that's how much I liked it, that I'm like, you know what, actually, I kind of want more of this. I kind of want more of this. I say the length was actually too short. Actually, even though we both were saying that we had to pee right when the movie ended, but I wouldn't have minded another like 30 minutes.
Oh my god, I had to pee so badly. I noticed that like halfway through. I'm like, oh, if I wasn't doing a podcast. Oh. I recommend this movie. I recommend people go see this movie. I recommend people, buy multiple tickets. Let's get this a sequel. But in all reality, I think you're going to have a good time. I don't think you need to have any knowledge about Sonic at all to actually like the movie. Not in it's a dumb comedy. I think you can actually like the movie without knowing Sonic.
And that's what it does a good job of, I think. Actually, I might say does a little bit better job than Detective Pikachu. Actually, I'm going to say it does a better job of being, you don't have to know anything. I almost agree with you. I would say you don't have to know anything. You probably could be like, what the hell is a blue hedgehog? What's Sonic? And you'll enjoy this movie more than I think if you knew nothing, if you've never even heard of Pokemon before and you went and saw Detective Pikachu.
I actually agree with you.
I don't know if that's a hot take or not. We'll find out, I guess, once people start seeing the film.
I think it's a fun ride. I think anyone's going to enjoy it. Take your kids, whatever. Sit through the credits. It's just cool stuff that they do for the actual end credits themselves. It's a fun ride. I think everyone's going to like it.
Oh, crowd.
Oh, that's right. We actually had a big turnout, I think, for this showing.
For a Thursday night?
Yeah, you did a look around. What did you see?
So we went to a big Dolby theater at an AMC, and it's a pretty big. They're made for bigger audiences. I'm not saying like IMAX big, but definitely second largest. So I'd guess it was probably maybe I think each row was about 20, maybe a little bit less, and I think there was about 10 rows. I would say
20 seats in each row is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, 20 seats in each row, and there's about 10 rows. So what? Roughly 200 people, maybe a little bit more or less.
Could fit in there.
Let's say 200. I would say it was about 65 to 70% filled.
Yeah, I think our row only had one empty seat, and it was sitting next to me. I don't know what that says about me. But yeah, it was pretty packed.
I was shocked.
We watched a couple people try to sneak in
because we went in early, like they just ended a previous Sonic showing, and then we're waiting outside for them to clean up or whatnot, and it was us two, and then this other couple.
But only like about a dozen people left that other showing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kids, so maybe I guess
they don't count as people.
But yeah, maybe a dozen people and their kids, so maybe a max of 35, 40. But that was also a 5:00 showing in a Dolby theater, which is a little bit more expensive for families. On a Thursday night, opening night. That's pretty good,
yeah,
I think.
Our showing had a lot of people in it, which was cool.
Mixed, I will say it was a mixed crowd. It wasn't just, there was kids there for sure, families, but there were
Sonic fans.
There's some Sonic fans. There's also some guys who were probably our age who seemed just like regular old people. Maybe they were closeted Sonic fans like we all are. But
yeah, good mix of people too. People were laughing at jokes. People were, murmurs after the movie about, good, yeah, kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is good usually. Like you want some sign. Sort of, if no one said anything, then it was probably a bad film. Or people were just like, wow, we can all agree that sucked. That was a stinker. But no, there's people talking. I heard a couple claps actually.
I think people were like, "Do we clap now or do we clap later?"
Well, there was people excited. There were people excited, I think, for sure, or had a good time. So that's encouraging for sure.
No one did that thing that the lady in the preview said, that you jumping up, spilling your popcorn to raise your hands in excitement. No one.
Maybe Paramount. Maybe Paramount might be raising their hands after this weekend. We'll see how the box office numbers go.
Before we close the curtain on this non-spoilery thing, you give me your one last prediction about box office sales. Now that we know that the movie, as a recording, has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that we think the movie is really good, and that people like it, and that they might come back.
I'm trying to think what we said last time. I know we said total box office globally was around 300, maybe. I think we were 10 million apart. Yeah, it wasn't. We were basically agreeing. And since Birds of Prey, we know right now isn't doing too hot at all. Was it the least amount of money a DC movie has made opening weekend last weekend?
That's so bad that they renamed the movie to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey.
They're not having a good time with marketing. Somehow this Sonic the Hedgehog is having better marketing right now, I think, than Birds of Prey is.
It's having that comeback king moment.
It really is. It really is. I'm gonna say it's gonna still get, I say, 70 million? Is that too high or too low? What do you think? 70 mil?
Worldwide?
What did we say last time? I'm saying opening weekend.
Oh. I forgot what we had said. To be honest, I forget every
episode. I feel like, but it doesn't even matter if we're confident or not, but just based off the crowd, I guess. Once again, we're only polling one theater or two showings.
I have a feeling that this movie could exceed our total worldwide box office sales expectations.
It really depends.
I think
we'll know more
really
once. We'll know more once opening weekend here.
We'll know in a week.
Yeah, we'll know in a week. Maybe we can talk about it next week. But I'm hoping for them. Yeah, it'd be awesome if they punch out 100. You know how awesome that would be for the studio that closed. that helped animate this. But just like really, it is a comeback story. If it like the movie is good, it's fun, but it would be even better if they actually made money. And they're like they went from being a joke, a meme.
Yeah.
Not even
I think
9 months ago, 10 months
movie.
ago. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're okay. We listened.
Yeah.
And do you think, this is a non-spoiler, do you think if this movie you would have enjoyed this movie if it was the old design?
Let's just assume the only change was the animation. Yes. But I still would have made fun out of it like crazy afterwards. Like
I say it wouldn't have been. That would be like the biggest flaw. I think it would be coming out of the theater being like,
yeah,
man, that was funny.
But it would have been just like obviously it was gonna be there's obviously gonna be something holding it back, and it's obvious like no one, what I mean, video game movies didn't have like everything about it was good until like maybe Detective Pikachu. So like obviously this was gonna have something wrong with it, but they fixed it. I think the animation in the movie was really
all
good.
Its flaws I think are passable.
They're easily excusable for what it's trying to be.
Exactly, and that's why I think that's why it's gonna be good, or like I'm okay with saying it's good or I had fun because I know this is a kids movie first, and they set that tone. We'll talk about that in the spoilers.
Yeah,
quickly they said like this is different, but it's still Sonic, and it's gonna be for kids first, and then all y'all smuckers later.
How do you review movies? What grading system do you use?
Yeah, I think we've had like 3 different grading systems on this show. Let's just say out of 10, because I think it will give us, because we said out of 5, that's so much harder to do. I think if you do it out of 10, it's a little bit easier to number it. I'm going to say out of 10, 7.
I would give the movie an 8.
Okay.
I feel like I broke this down in my head earlier. I give the performances in a 9. I give the kind of visuals about it, I give that an 8. I give the general story, plot, etc., like a 7. But overall, yeah, I'd give
7
it
to me is I like it. I love it. Would be over 8, so that's how I usually do it. And if it's like a 9 or if it's like a 10 or a 9.5, then I'm like, this is one of my top.
That's
100
2
films.
thumbs way up
on every VHS box ever.
So yeah, go see the movie. We recommend it. And now we're going to transition into spoilers. All right, we're back now. We're going to give our spoilery thoughts on this movie. We want to do what we usually do for reviews, or we kind of recap it and then stop.
I say we should do a recap. We'll try to go quicker than we did Detective Pikachu, because Detective Pikachu is 2 hours. It is 11 p.m. actually on the dot right now, our time. So, and we both have to do stuff in the early morning. So,
in my car on the way down, I recapped it in 30 minutes. So I think we can beat that.
Okay.
I'll start. I'll recap it and then
we'll just jump in when
exactly. So the movie starts. We get the classic Paramount opening, but it's rings, and I think they handled that very well. They used the sound effect pretty nice. And we get a classic movie. I don't want to call it a trope, because trope sometimes has a negative effect to it, like, oh, this is lazy. But it's a trope where we cut in like halfway through a movie, character narrates, and it freeze frames.
You missed the Sega part where they said,
"Oh my god, that's right!" And then they show like a montage of like Sega games, including Yakuza and all sorts of stuff. Actually, that was them being like, "Hey, we're a brand. Pay attention to us." Like, did you think this is big, cool, and epic? We're a brand. Kind of reminded me of the one for Pokemon. That was a cool Pokemon.
Be confident, you know what I mean? Be like, "Hey, we have all these cool games. Yeah, Sonic ain't the best, but we have them. We have them. What do you have? Nintendo." I mean, in
the bottom center of those Sega games was Space Channel 5. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a Sega ass game. Sorry. We get that thing where Sonic is narrating this halfway through the movie, and it freeze frames. It's like, I bet you want to know how I got here. That kind of
I was shocked that they went, like, I know we predicted it how many times on this show that we thought I was going to start with baby Sonic like from the get go, or be like, "Hey, I'm Sonic."
It did though.
It kind of did,
It
but
did.
like I didn't expect them to do like, "Hey, I'm Sonic, and I'm currently in the middle of what wound up being the climax of the film."
I think that because I had a thought about that after the movie was over. I'm like, I think they needed to do that to already establish the Sonic dynamic of what he does and his attitude before the movie continues. I don't necessarily think it was super important, but I think it's a better start than if we started off with showing baby Sonic running.
Oh no, I agree. I'm glad they did it. I was just shocked, I guess, because
yeah,
once
I
again
didn't
we had lower expectations going into this, so I was like, okay, it's gonna open with baby Sonic, or here's Sonic in his planet or wherever he's at,
and that's what we see next.
Yes.
Sonic does the rewinding sound effect, that was kind of funny. And we get that long shot from the trailer of Green Hill Zone. It's baby Sonic running through. He calls it an island, but they definitely made sure to say it wasn't on Earth. I forget how they say it.
I think he's
said running
through. Here's my island on this in this planet or whatever, something like that. So it's its own world.
Exactly. I think maybe he even says my world or something. But he's running through and he's explaining how he has a special power that's unique to him. And he's been told to keep it hidden, but he's just so excited and he's running real fast.
But who told him to keep it hidden, Ethan?
Well, he's running real fast. Maybe he's assuming that no one's going to see him. He runs into that tree house kind of thing we saw from the Baby Sonic trailer, and we see an owl lady called Longclaw, which is a unique character. I don't think that's
a new
from
character,
a Sonic game. If it is from a Sonic game, that's a very deep cut, super deep cut. And she chastises Sonic for running fast. He's like, but I was just so excited to give you this flower, and it's the Sonic 1 Green Hill Zone sunflower thing. And then, so this is where in my opinion, our predictions about how deep the movie was going to go were wrong.
Within the first 10 minutes, I was like, whoa, come on, really?
We had expected that the movie was going to play it super safe. They're not going to really go into any Sonic stuff. That's why they put him on Earth. That's why he's interacting with human beings. But when all of the Knuckles basically show up, these red echidnas, dressed in their Native American inspired attire, like in Sonic Adventure 1, I'm like, okay, they are actually doing things I did not expect them to do. So yeah, Sonic is proven wrong that no one could see him when he runs fast, because all these echidnas show up and they're shooting arrows. They want his power. That's the thing.
I just wanted to say that, I don't know about you, like I said, I was shocked. But, like, that's when I'm like, we might have something completely different. Like, now I'm like, anything can happen in this. Like, the fact that they started off with that, I was like, okay,
because
there's a talking owl.
The next few moments are pretty intense for what, we expected from the trailer. Because the Longhorn, the owl lady, gives Sonic a bag of rings, and basically gives us the theme of the movie, although it is the wrong interpretation of the theme. She basically tells Sonic, you need to keep running. Always keep running. Never stop running. You're supposed to hide. Keep running, right? And she even throws the ring. It sends somewhere. I don't know if that was supposed to be Earth, because I think we get a scene later where Sonic has a map with crossed out planets. So I think he had been to other places
before
and had to leave. But in any case, and it's another kind of trope, but I think it's a good trope, where the character sacrifices themselves so someone else can live. And it's the thing where, like, the last thing our main character sees before, the portal disappears is Longhorn being overtaken by all of these echidnas. I'm like, damn.
I want to know more about that, actually. Like,
yeah, I want to see those echidnas. Just eat the owl lady. What's the dynamic on that world? He said there was no schools.
Yeah.
So here's something I couldn't remember. How long of a griefing period did we see from Sonic after that? Is that like almost
seconds.
Immediately now jumping to James Marsden?
Yeah, and something about like all of a sudden he's on Earth. Like he's just on Earth. We don't know. He made a little house or something.
So here's the thing:
underground
I don't remember
home.
which they show first, the cave, or are we introducing ourselves to this older Sonic with the speedometer or the speed radar?
It might be that. I think it was the speedometer.
I think it's that first. Okay, let me narrate it, or let me recap it as if that's the case. He got to James Marsden. He's on a highway next to a giant sign saying "Welcome to Green Hills." He's trying to catch speed demons. speeding on by. And he's goofing off because he's bored as hell. He's like pretending to scan certain things zooming by, scans the turtle. It's going 0.1 miles an hour or something like that. And Sonic runs by real fast and it sets it off. It's like, whoa, it's like 284 miles an hour. What? And we see Sonic behind it. Sonic is basically messing with him, but also trying to see how fast he could run, literally using the speed gun to find out, which is cute. James Marsden gets a call to go back into town. He goes, and Sonic sees that turtle almost get run over by a car, which I think they lingered on that a little bit too long. I was a bit uncomfortable. I'm like, are they actually going to show the car running over the turtle? That was actually, like, I almost
Sonic's
couldn't
too
tell.
Late. Sonic saves the turtle, but imagine
he
if he
picks
was
up the
too
turtle.
Late.
Oh, yeah. I almost ran over a turtle once. It was a huge tortoise, centered over it, but I swerved out. So he was in the middle of my lane. Sonic picks up and runs real fast, and this was actually a funny moment where he holds the turtle in one hand and it flies out and he catches him or whatever. But then, yeah, I think right after the turtle moment, that's when we get him narrating about how he's been living in Green Hills. He has his little cave, which I think I thought from the trailers was the garage, but he's been living in this cave on Earth. So it wasn't like what we thought where he had been to Earth before and then came back.
Yeah,
he's been there for years. Yeah, he's been there for years. And he's been kind of like the invisible citizen of this town. He kind of knows everyone, I guess, to a degree.
I wouldn't say
kind of
visible
knows the dynamics.
Citizen. He pretends he thinks he's like a citizen of the town, but
no one knows he's there.
Yeah, but I do like the concept that he quickly talks about, that he introduces some of the local people, and there's this one like crazy old man who has like bear traps, who knows he's there, and like Sonic like at one point just shouts, "I'm not real," or whatever.
That was a funny moment.
Basically, he is a Bigfoot, and I actually think that is a really fun idea. That
exactly.
Like there's the Blue Devil is out in the woods somewhere, and like only a couple people have seen him.
Not gonna lie, I was hoping for a White Devil joke or something like that.
Damn. But no, I just like the idea, and the fact that it takes place in Montana, which has like the least amount of people in it, out of all the states, and I'm like, that's such a perfect setting
type of thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
great idea.
And I think it's good story wise too, because it really does show that he has been living there, and he knows these people. He feels a connection, which is why when there is almost a one-sided confrontation where he's arguing and he's upset that James Marsden is going to leave Green Hill, like you do really get the sense that he feels a part of this community, even though the community doesn't necessarily know of his existence. Mm-hmm. And he is the one that introduces us to James Marsden and the other character, I forgot her name,
Maddie Wachowski. It's his wife.
But it's almost I don't want to call it brilliant, but it's very smart that like we get to see some of like the, I don't want to call them flaws, I don't want to call them quirks, but weird little aspects of everyone's personality in their private moments, because Sonic is literally watching and he's explaining. Like it's like James Marsden talks to his donuts. He likes donuts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all these
That's why he has the
weird
nickname
things.
Donut Lord.
Donut Lord, yep. He like these characters are more humanized before we actually ever know them, which I think is really smart, because we like James Marsden before he really ever has anything to do. You know what I mean?
Anybody else?
We like his wife, you know, like before she has anything to really do. But he narrates that, you know, these are his two favorite people, Donut Lord and Pretzel Lady. I think he knows their actual names, but he just calls them that anyway. I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? There's a scene later where I think he learns Pretzel Lady in quotes name,
which is like, okay, if you're stalking them, you never heard one of them be like,
"Tom,
hey Mandy, I need your help assembling, you know, this dining room table." Or hey, what do you want to eat, Tom? You like any like I don't know, whatever. We're thinking like it's a kids movie. Who cares? Like
exactly
that kind of any kind of stuff like that where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I let it go.
It's easily excusable because of what it's trying to be. It's not trying to be something that is an intricately put together puzzle piece with 10,000 pieces. You know what I mean? There's 3 pieces missing, and they happen to be the face of someone. So you're like,
and
whatever.
Once again, this is a blue alien hedgehog thing. So you throw any sort of logic out the window.
But anyway, we see them in a moment where James Marsden gets his mail or something, gets a letter. Basically, he wants to move out of Montana, out of Green Hills, go to San Francisco, and become a beat cop. He basically goes from being like the most important person in this town to just like the most rookie-ass rookie. But whatever, that's what he wants.
He wants to be a real cop.
He wants to stop being a babysitter, like he said. Although I would argue that you're like probably the most beloved person in that town.
Yes.
I would feel pretty like welcomed.
And it probably is not a terrible job.
No.
He has a nice house.
Clearly, yes.
He has a very nice house.
They had enough money lying around to like fix the whole house. You know what I mean? His wife surprises him with the letter, and he opens it up saying, "Oh, like I got it, whatever, yay, got the job." And she brings out a cake that says San Francisco Scott sucks, but
which I thought
was actually the wrong cake.
That was really funny.
That was really funny. I don't want to nitpick, but the fact that the other cake had a different orientation, and she would have known that, so she wouldn't have placed the cake. Yeah, it's a stupid nitpick. They needed to make the picture fit better on the cake of acceptance. That's why they did it that way. There's a cool moment that cake shows up in like 5 scenes. It's funny. It's like, yeah, taking we get our first real product placement where she says, "I'm going to go to San Francisco to where my sister lives, and I'm already scouting out apartments on Zillow.com."
Wasn't there an Olive Garden joke in there? That like,
there's a couple Olive Garden, but those are good jokes. This is literally
they were good because you weren't expecting it. You're expecting like fart jokes.
Literally on the phone. Well, I guess we should just say it now. Her sister is one of the funnier characters in the movie, and I think they use her enough. They use her sparingly.
She's
but
comic
enough.
relief, yeah. In a movie that already has comic relief, but like she is used well.
Scene diffuser, as I like to call them sometimes. Tension breakers. But yeah, like her whole thing is that she thinks that her sister, the wife of James Marsden's character, is too good for James Marsden's character, keeps wanting her to divorce him. And there's a line when they're on the phone, she says like, James Marsden's character's wife, Jesus, I'm so tired. Maddie is her name? Yes. I forgot what her name was, so thank you.
Yes.
I literally forgot what her actress's name was too. Maddie is on the phone with James Marsden. She's already in San Francisco. This is later on in the movie, and she's like, "My sister already made me look through your phone for dating apps," and he says, "All the apps on my phone are the ones that came on it, except for the Olive Garden." She says, "Because when you're here," and he says, "Your family." That was really good. I actually laughed. Because I don't know if it was expecting it. I don't know if it was that moment or if there was another joke earlier there. I'm like, these are actually good, smartly written jokes,
and they're for like more our age and parents. Kids aren't going to be like, what, whatever. But they did a good mix of having because there was like a fart
writers
jokes
that cared.
Yeah, they didn't just throw in. They're like, okay, Jim, just go out there. Okay, James, just be a boring cop. Like James was funny, and Tika was funny, or they all had their own jokes at some point, or they had a combination of them together. So yeah, that Olive Garden joke was the first, I think, really funny joke that I laughed at. I mean, I snickered throughout, but that one I was just like, wow, like was not expecting this kind of humor tonight. All right.
Yeah.
I'm all for it though.
He gets his acceptance thing. He's like, cool, whatever. I believe this is when Sonic goes to the baseball game.
Yeah, he watches, like, it must be some rival school or something playing the local team, the Green Hill team.
Mm-hmm.
And someone hits like a walk-off home run. This is my one nitpick that's coming up here. So yeah, Sonic's like, man, I wish I had friends, just in general. Like he sees one kid high-five another, which we'll see later means a lot to him because he just wants someone to, have a good time with.
Yep.
So yeah, everyone leaves, the game's over, and somehow someone leaves a bag of very expensive baseball equipment just lying around. And somehow
do we show him pick up a thing lying around, or because
he finds a baseball after a home run, but he finds a bat and helmet from a bag of stuff that he sees like just sitting. I don't know if they just—it's a small town.
Okay, so
like,
we definitely saw them leave it there, right?
No, we didn't see anyone leave it there, but he just finds a bag of stuff that's just sitting in the dugout, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's weird. I wouldn't.
Because I was
going to
say,
bag of
who
bats.
knows? He could have stolen it because how did
Maybe.
he get everything in his cave? He clearly didn't have a job.
Yeah.
But
Regardless, I was like, whatever. That was the part that I was nitpicking. I just remember now.
Hey, these are dumb hicks in Montana.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I don't mean to.
Hey, I want to live in Montana, man. It seems peaceful out there.
I mean, that's where Sonic lives.
I want to be closer.
The Sonic, we watched him. He clearly likes that baseball game.
But
he wants to feel that level of team and friendship.
Yeah, the one part, though, I wanted to say was he starts reenacting a baseball game.
He says, I'm a big baseball fan here. His logic doesn't make any sense for his simulation here. He says it's the bottom of the ninth, and this is where I'm confused, so maybe I'm wrong, but from what he's saying, he shows it was the best pitcher pitching, he's the best batter, whatever, you couldn't ask for a better matchup, and then he goes over to third base, and there's a guy, like, he's pretending to be like a guy ready to steal home, and if the game's tied at the bottom of the ninth, he hits, wasn't even a home run, he hits like a ball like into the outfield, and he's like sprinting towards home. It wouldn't have mattered if the runner at third scored, because it's the bottom of the ninth, so that means it's already a walk-off. There was no need for him to steal home. That's my biggest beef with the film. I'm like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Sonic, there's no need to rush towards home. You already won. Unless the guy at third was actually supposed to be the third base coach, and he was just getting really hyped up or something. I don't know. I was very confused with the baseball rules there. But other than that, that was my only negative. This movie is a 10 on 10. Best film you could ever see. That was it. That was my nitpick. That bothered me. I'm like, really? No one knows how baseball works? Come on.
So Sonic does all that, whatever you just said. And he's all happy. He wants that shared moment and that shared experience of happiness, but there's no one to share with, and that's when he gets all teenage angsty and emotional, and he's like, I don't have no one.
Yeah, is he like 10, by the way? Like, do we know how old he is?
I think he's supposed to be a kid.
Like
I was
10
actually expecting someone to be like, how
tops.
old are you? And he's like, well, I've been here since the 90s. I was expecting that joke, but they didn't do that. So I think he's supposed to just be a kid. But he runs around the diamond, causes the EMP thing.
That we predicted. We got that right.
They show it a little bit later, but I believe his power is supposed to be based, like, he could control. I don't think he needs to run fast to have it happen. I think it's literally tied to his emotion, like what he's feeling. So it causes a blackout all across the Pacific Northwest. We then cut to the Pentagon. It was kind of hard to tell that it was the Pentagon.
It was
because it was
definitely
so
like
dark.
Stock footage that they're like, look, we can't have a helicopter shoot for this. Let's just see if there's any other movie that's ever had a Pentagon shot, and we'll just take that. I can guarantee it.
There was a Sony Pictures movie that used footage from Spider-Man 3. Just straight up used footage from Spider-Man 3
hey man,
at the beginning of that movie.
Small budget.
It wasn't even cut footage from Spider-Man 3. They just used a scene. And then we get, this is honestly, so we mentioned in the non-spoiler section that all of the secondary characters were good. I think all of the top brass of the United States government here in the Pentagon were poorly done. I didn't like any of them. But I did understand that they weren't trying to make this a serious, it's Transformers / the Ninja Turtle / Battleship level of like, the United States government needs to take control of the situation or anything like that.
They're kind of like, I don't know what happened there. Let's just send a crazy scientist.
Yeah.
And they kind of have like a joking argument about, no, you can't send him. One guy says the classic military trope in any of these action movies, we got to send the whole, battalion.
Like, I think you said the 5th and the 7th.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, what happened to the one in the middle?
I don't know.
I actually did enjoy the moment where the main guy that presents the idea of sending Robotnik's like, well, what do you remember the this and then that or this situation over here? He's like, no. He's like, yeah, you did because of Dr. Robotnik or something. That was probably the only good part.
Yeah, they mentioned he made a joke saying that like, remember that made that revolt or whatever in that one country, and the guy's like, that's not even a real country. He's like, exactly. It's like, what?
I think mainly it was maybe just their performances, but whatever. He gives them an Olive Garden gift card at the end,
which is so stupid, but I did like it. Like good tie-in.
So then we cut back to the baseball diamond. It's morning now. I believe Sonic just ran back home to go sleep off his angst. And the military is already there. They I guess triangulated that was the source, the center of the epicenter, as they might call it.
Yeah, it was somewhere in
the blackout. Although it is funny that they managed to bring it right down to the actual baseball diamond itself, which is actually pretty. You would think that it's somewhere in this square mile. Hey,
it's 2019, and I'm guessing when this movie takes place, the military knows.
I guess so. Dr. Robotnik's cool truck
Yeah, it was dope.
semi
Not
is
gonna
already
lie.
there.
It's more like an
I like the
RV,
fact that
but-
the stairs are a part of the wall that
Yeah.
come down. He comes out of there, and this is the part from the first trailer where he's I'm in charge now or whatever, interrupting him, belittling the man. I like I said, I liked Jim Carrey more than I thought I would. I liked his performance. I liked the things he was doing a little bit more than I thought I would. I do think there were too many jokes about how stupid everyone else is compared to him.
I agree. I just think they just tried to make it 100% clear that, by the way, Dr. Ivo Robotnik is a complete asshole in this movie. More so than like he is in like any game I've played or anything, any cartoon we've watched. It's one thing to be an evil genius. He's a straight asshole where he's just like not doesn't even give people a chance to like defend themselves. He's just like,
Right.
you're
I've already
meaningless to me.
decided. Yeah, exactly.
But maybe this is setting up for, I mean, we're already doing the spoilers here, for a possible sequel where like he mentioned a couple times where like he thinks AI computer is the right, like is almost like the perfect life form or something like that. So he doesn't care about humans at all besides himself. So if the world ended, he'd probably be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, he can
That's the
continue
kind of
his
character
work.
he is.
You know,
Whatever that is. I don't know what he's trying to work on. Skynet? I don't know.
he sends out his legion of egg-shaped drones. He even says it came from his egg sack.
That was a really weird joke, but I loved it. Yeah.
So the egg drones, as well as some people who somehow got farther ahead than the flying egg drones into the forest. They're scouting around.
That part was a little choppy, I will say. I felt like I'm like,
Yeah.
so they're already like cornering Sonic. They don't know it, but they already like Sonic's about to get captured. I'm like, oh, okay.
There's a moment I will get to in just a second. There, I'm like, yes, this is rushed, but not necessarily in a way that feels like it hinders the movie. But anyway, one of the drones sees a footprint, scans it. Robotnik is in he's watching all the feeds of all these drones in his computer, in his truck. It's a cool looking truck on the inside. And he's examining the footprint. His henchman, his classic Agent Stone, nice guy, is just trying to please. He's the perfect henchman. Comes up and he's talking. He's like, based off this, I've been able to determine how tall the thing is, how much it weighs, etc. Everything about it. And we get a lot of these moments, with the henchman, Dr. Agent Stone, where he's not belittling him, but being like, yes, you are stupid, and I'm explaining why I'm a genius or something like that. We get one of those moments. They go to find... They just follow, like, the footprints, I guess, or whatever. And so we cut to Sonic's in his cave, and he's like, I guess it's mushroom time. Did we mention that the next planet he would have to go to is the awful mushroom place? I imagine he's visited all these places to see what they're like. And I think he saw like, oh, there's nothing here but stupid mushrooms. So this is when we briefly show a map with planets X'd out on it. This makes me think that Earth was, again, like the last place he's been to. This wasn't his first place. Mm-hmm. He's like, I guess it's mushroom time. I need to go. And this is the moment I'm like, I feel like this was rushed because we can hear, I don't want to call it commotion, but we hear them approaching outside while still showing an uncut scene of him in the cave. And Sonic, who's, again, a CG animated character who's being voiced over, they're not actually filming anyone on set. I forgot how he phrases it, but it's so weird. It's so telling that, like, they're missing a scene where he says, oh, and they're here now, and oh, I need to leave because they're here now. I need to go somewhere else because they're here. They're right outside.
You can maybe argue that, like, he runs fast, but he also thinks fast. He's kind of just talking out loud. Because, if he's by himself in all this goes with all movies. A lot of people, like, Cinema Sins will make jokes all the time about, like, why is he talking to himself? It's like, it's because any sort of play, a musical, and movies included have to tell the audience what's happening. Imagine
if it was a voiceover later and his lips didn't move, you would sin it for that because it wouldn't
or
feel
you'd be
realistic
like,
or something stupid.
Okay, well, the realistic thing would happen if you're on the run, Ethan. You're not going to be talking to yourself, probably.
No.
Maybe you
would.
would
And then the audience has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but you're just grabbing things. You're just grabbing things, and you're
Right.
going out, be like, why? What's happening?
And that's exactly what I was talking about. What made it feel rushed? It's just the way he said.
Yeah, it was very.
Oh, I need to go because they're right outside. Yeah. Oh, and they're here. Like.
That's why I'm trying to make maybe an excuse for it. But
I just feel like
I don't know. It definitely
they
feels...
forgot to film. I think they forgot to film a scene where they find the cave because they didn't show them finding the cave, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think everything is small sets. There's a lot of small sets, and they kind of just...
And so it's really easy to it's really easy for them to like not skip it because I think they legitimately forgot to reshoot that or whatever. And it's a CG character in a cave. We have a still of the cave. Let's just have Ben Schwartz come in and just say, "Oh, I need to leave" or whatever because we forgot to show a scene where they find him. So he runs to James Marsden's, the only other place he thinks is safe, James Marsden's garage, and he's about to throw the ring. I guess he's like, "Oh, I guess Mushroom Place it is." This is when we cut to James Marsden on the phone with Maddie, who's in San Francisco at her sister's house. This is when we get that first Olive Garden joke. And he hears a ruckus in his garage. We know it's Sonic. He thinks it's raccoons. He's like, "I'm going to shoot him with your tranquilizer gun." Now, here's another little tiny, stupid nitpick that doesn't matter. If he is like the one that solves the problems in the town, he would have a tranquilizer gun himself. It wouldn't necessarily just be hers. She's a vet. But she doesn't need to shoot anything from faraway distances.
Usually it's a ranger gun or something like that. If it's like a bear in a tree or something like that.
If there's an animal in her veterinary, I don't want to call it a hospital, her office or whatever.
Yeah, it's a veterinary hospital.
She doesn't need a gun. It can just be an injection. But whatever.
They're also in Montana. They're in Montana. There's bears.
It's true. It's a bear tranquilizer, which I laughed.
But I did like how he loaded it. He like loaded like it's like an actual pistol or something. Like he's like, yeah,
exactly.
This is about to be really badass. Yeah,
I mean, he probably gets 0 action. So
yeah,
yeah. I guess this is what he wants. Do you miss the bullets yet?
No one's gonna get that.
Brian, do you miss the bullets? I'm a sage and I have no flaws and I have no character arc, and I'm here to remind you because you died in real life. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. He goes to the garage, and this is when Sonic's about to throw the ring. And we get it. I didn't think that they were going to put in this movie. We get the meow moment.
Yeah. I remember we both looked at each other. We're like, they did it. That's okay. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. But I'm like,
now good. Here's the thing. I think it did better here because of the animation.
Yes.
Maybe it was cut a little bit different. Maybe they had him redo the line. Maybe this was a different take of that line. Than the meow. But like, It was pretty well handled. He shoots him with the tranquilizer. Sonic sees James Marsden's t-shirt that says San Francisco. I'm going to speed up because we're running low on time. It's already been, It's already
roughly an hour, yeah.
Yes. He throws the ring. He thinks of San Francisco, or at least the name San Francisco. It creates San Francisco, not the Mushroom Place. And bag of rings flies through it. James Marsden sees it, and I expected this is where they would use their swear. And be like, "What the fuck?" But they didn't.
That would be hilarious if they did. I don't think they swore.
Jim Carrey says hell at one point.
Does that count? Okay.
I guess. A PG what's this movie rated? It can't be PG-13 because you could say fucking PG-13.
You keep going.
Sonic passes out. I mean, he's been shot with a bear tranquilizer, so I guess that's how it happens. James Marsden takes him into his house. He's in a dog crate on a table. PG. Now, here's the thing. This dog crate is pretty small for a dog the size of James Marsden's character's dog, but whatever. It's on the table. There's a funny moment where he's poking Sonic with a spatula. Sonic wakes up. He just walks out. He's all wobbly because his legs are really numbed. Can't really feel them. And he's trying to convince Tom Wachowski to help him. They're after him. Tom's still like, "What the hell are you?" Sonic, they established at one point Sonic can't run away because he's been shot with a tranquilizer and he's still feeling the effects in his legs. So Tom hides Sonic in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
And then then he goes outside and sees Robotnik pull up and look at footprints or whatever. And then this is the moment where I'm, like I mentioned in the non-spoiler part, where I think Jim Carrey, won me over. This whole moment where he's trying to get in the house and James Marsden and Jim Carrey are having not a battle of wits, but they're playing with each other a little bit. I thought that was really good. I thought it was really well handled. That whole part, we don't need to explain anything about it. It's just, it was legitimately funny.
It was
for
funny.
me. Legitimately funny. There are little drones going through the house. Sonic's pretending to be a ball, whatever. Sonic accidentally rolls down the attic stairs, bumps into something in the kitchen. James Marsden easily could have been like, that's my dog, or something like that, but he didn't. Dr. Robotnik goes inside, sees the raccoon eating that cake.
Which I thought was funny. I'm like, I thought that's when we're going to get the scene we got from the trailer, and it wasn't. It was the raccoon. I'm like, they keep calling back to this raccoon. Because we saw the raccoons earlier in the trash can, then he thought there was raccoons in the shed or garage there, and then now we actually see
I think there are even
raccoon.
raccoons at the ending. I don't remember.
I think there might be, yeah.
And then this is where we get our favorite scream, because Sonic does come out, because for some reason Dr. Robotnik jumps to the extreme of like, anyone hindering the United States government from finding something is an enemy and the punishment is death. Like, clearly he's abusing this apparent power that he has. Sonic says, no, don't hurt him, and then we get the Jim Carrey scream, which is, I have a blurred like in motion version of that pic.
Yeah, because of that little
it's a funny reaction pic.
Yeah, it's really good.
Jay Marston punches him, or Tom punches
Knocks him out straight up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he is a cop. He's got to punch hillbillies
Powerful
in
swing.
Montana. Exactly. He's got a good swing. He takes Sonic. They run. They get in the Chevy Silverado 2017.
Sponsored.
I bet. It's a cool truck. They drive off. He drops him off at the side of the road because he's like, all right, I don't know what you want. Like, get out of here. Go away. And Sonic's like, I need to go to San Francisco. That's where my rings are. I can't run really fast because of this. I don't know if they established.
He can run. He just doesn't know how to get to San Francisco.
Exactly. They established that with him running into a lake.
If you wanted to do
or
a plot
something.
hole thing, just give him your phone, Google Maps San Francisco, tell Sonic to follow the directions.
There's one later where they do get to San Francisco. Sonic knows it's at the top of that building and doesn't run up the building and grab it. We know he could do that.
Yeah.
He runs and says, "Oh, we need a key card to get up to the top."
Maybe he
like,
can't. I don't know, but
he definitely could. He can easily run up that.
maybe it's the angle, man. The angle's too steep.
Excuses. But then they wouldn't have a way to push the plot forward, so they needed that. So okay, fine. We're in our Chevy Silverado 2017. We're driving to San Francisco. I mean, it just so happens that's where James Marsden's wife is, and their house has been shot up to hell. I think it's probably. I theorize that they made it so that she took the dog with her to San Francisco, so that there was no doubt that the dog wasn't killed when they shot up the house. Like, they needed to get the dog out of the house.
Not to confuse people, but
Exactly.
the original house, not the house that Maddie's at now.
Correct. When Robotnik has his drone attack James Marsden, they start shooting around.
Shooting actual bullets.
Yeah, exactly. And they shot up his house, so they needed to get that dog out of that scene, so that's why they had her take the dog to San Francisco. In any case, they're driving. This is when we get the rubber band ball moment from the trailer. It's almost identical, except he has a mouse pad. We don't need to talk about that. We get moments where James Marsden's like, so you need to actually explain to me what you are and what you are and what you are, because I'm confused. I thought all that stuff was good. Then they stop for gas/food.
He was going to call his...
And that's right. And that was a funny joke where he says only like drug dealers use these payphones anymore. Because again, it's 2019, 2020. He's driving a 3-year-old truck, Chevy Silverado in silver. Yeah, where he talks to his deputy or whatever. It's whatever. That character was pointless. But
they showed him earlier. He's just a dumb. He's like the dumbest. Probably
he's
character.
Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
Yes,
essentially. They get, what was the first thing he said? Oh, relax. You know, like, whatever. He would not have that job. But again, like, only hillbillies live in Montana, so it's all good. You tell Sonic to wait in the car, but Sonic gets out and goes into the rodeo pub.
He sees this cool rodeo pub, and they're playing...
Honestly, that dude, like, surfing the motorcycle
that was
in a
pretty
circle,
dope.
like,
dope.
I would definitely see that.
And
Might not stand as close.
And they were playing the band
else.
Airborne, which is like an updated version of AC/DC, so I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sonic goes inside. We can kind of skim through a lot of this part.
Yeah.
Basically, this is when we get introduced to the B plot. The B plot is Sonic not wanting to leave without realizing he didn't want to leave. Obviously, he didn't want to go to the mushroom place. He knew that. But it dawns on him when James Marsden mentions the idea of a bucket list, and then the music gets kind of somber. That's how we know it's an important part. What he's about to say, pay attention, kids. He explains what a bucket list is, and Sonic's like, well, I don't want to leave. Again, a B plot is supposed to reinforce the theme, so when it comes back into the A plot towards the end, it feels natural. And the theme is to stop running away from your problems. You can stay still and fight them, right?
I would say more it's just like... He was more just like he wanted to be at home. He didn't have to leave if he didn't want to.
But not wanting to leave is what makes him from running.
Yeah,
he was so eager to run away.
It wasn't the best B plot, in my opinion, but...
It is a kid's movie.
Yeah.
What's the theme of Shrek? I guess be yourself. Maybe. Okay, never mind. I take that back. That is a pretty good.
Shrek actually is a pretty good. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Fine. Shrek the Third. Okay. Okay. Just because you hired JT to be in your movie doesn't make it a good sequel. All right.
But yeah, basically,
Shrek 2 was bad too.
He writes a bucket list, and
all simple things I guess he could think of off the top of his head.
And then we have a scene where like it's a montage of them doing activities. I want to say if this movie was rated R, his bucket list it would be a montage of them getting like hella drunk. There'd be hookers.
But he's also supposed to be a kid.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it'd just be nuts. I had when this whole scene was going down, I'm like they could have taken this in such a more edgier direction where it's just like he's doing cocaine in the bathroom.
They needed the moment. They needed the moment where only one thing wasn't crossed off. If they didn't need that moment, they could have done a visual gag where something said "kill a man" or something like that. Obviously, they wouldn't have done that, but like a visual gag of
get away with murder.
You know what I mean? They needed to have only one thing not crossed off. You know, for James Marsden to realize Sonic is a lonely piece of shit. We get this whole montage, like you mentioned. Then the fight gets started, and we get basically the Quicksilver scene from X-Men: Days of Future Past, where
what a reference.
And I mean, that's what it is.
Though. It is.
He's running real fast in somewhat slow time for us, but everything is basically not moving at all except Sonic. Music is playing that is sweet and pleasing and not exactly the tone of... It goes against what's actually happening, where he's running really fast, but it's sweet, somber music or whatever. He causes the whole fight to go in James Marsden's favor, right? It ends. It was actually pretty good. The choreography of it all, it was funny gags when it all, the dominoes all fall, and it all comes together. I was satisfied with that moment. They run out. That's when Sonic does the slide across the dash of the Chevy Silverado 2017, leaving the food on the hood. They drive off. I would have grabbed it. There was some chips and
didn't
coffee.
He say there something about... No, that was later. He mentions Vin Diesel at some point.
He mentions Vin Diesel, I believe, when he's driving.
Okay.
I believe it's when he's driving.
Because you got to remember, this is the same studio. I think it was called Original Film was involved in this. That they also do the Fast and Furious. Yeah.
And this is from one of the producers of the Fast and the Furious. Remember?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
They never used that song from that first trailer, and I'm so glad that they didn't.
Gangster's Paradise.
Gangster's Paradise. Yeah. What a terrible tone. I'm sorry that song had for this movie. In any case, they're driving. Then they stop at the motel. Another quick thing of Sonic doing a whole bunch of things at once because he's really fast, whatever. Tom tucks Sonic in. This is when he sees the list that everything is scratched off except one that says "Make a real friend." Which is how he knows, he's lonely, right?
Friendship.
Anyway, they're back on the road. Almost immediately, that idea gets brought up about, are they real friends or not? Because Sonic says, "Oh, I'm your best friend." Just two best friends. And...
I feel like Tom's was being kind of a douche there. Like he knew,
yes.
He knew the thing, and he's like, "I'm gonna poke this bear. I'm gonna."
Absolutely.
It's like making fun of a little kid who says like something about they want to be a firefighter when they grow up, and then they didn't know they were in their journal, and then you bring it up later, but then you make fun of them for it. Be like, why would you want to be a firefighter? It's one of the worst jobs you can possibly have.
Low pay, dangerous risk, no appreciation. People are upset when they see you driving by them. Yeah, maybe Sonic's like, I'm your best friend. He's like, well, probably
didn't
not.
have to say that.
I've known
let
you
it
for
slide.
36 hours. Now, granted, he is married, but he could mention something like that. I married my best friend or whatever. And he's like, I'm your best animal friend. So he's like, no, I have a dog. The dog has more personality than you. I'm sorry, Sonic the Hedgehog. They're driving, and then this is when we get the armored vehicle chase. It's an action moment. You've seen enough from the trailers. Obviously, you've seen the movie if you're listening to this. I don't know why I need to explain it as if you haven't seen it, folks at home. Basically, it's a robot that keeps breaking down to smaller robots, which is it's a cute idea, right? That they do.
They
every
could have
single
made
time
it
they
super
beat it.
basic and just been like, Sonic just shows his power for the first time and he destroys the robot car and it's over. But I'm like,
it was like a 10-minute scene that could have been like a 30-second scene.
And it probably would have
been.
It probably would have been a lot more boring. I don't think it was that entertaining.
Well, yeah.
But it was a lot more exciting than if they just had robot tank car.
Exactly. Tank car into like bobsled into unicycle into little tiny propeller drone. It starts off with them harpooning straight through
Which
the truck. I'm
scary.
like, damn, that's violent. And then
if he missed by like an inch, one of them is impaled.
Straight through the forehead. Straight through the back of the head, out the front of the head. You would have seen bits of brain and skull.
Someone should edit it where
they put a third character in the backseat in the middle.
Or just just have it like edit it so that Tom just gets impaled through the chest and Sonic's like, ah, and then it cuts.
Do what they did for Star Wars A New Hope, where they moved Han Solo's head in post so that he
it's clearly edited so he gets impaled.
Exactly. He does have him drive for Tom does have Sonic drive for a brief second. This is where we get the Vin Diesel joke where he says, I'm like Vin Diesel. He says, it's all about family, Tom, or whatever. Like we laughed at that. That was cute.
And then that's when I knew we had to do the Vin Diesel podcast.
Yes, the Chronicles of Diesel coming soon. This month, actually. We'll explain some of that later. Probably next episode, because we have a lot to talk about here. Okay, that whole thing is over. Oh, they do the truck turns into a convertible because basically it's lasered, the top of it's lasered off, which I think actually kind of like the idea of a convertible truck. Kind of looks like a boat.
It's
you drive.
Basically almost like a Jeep with a trunk, an open trunk. So yeah,
it's
maybe
a
you're
boat
on
wheels. That's what I think. I
probably
want
better gas mileage.
Exactly.
Less wind.
Exactly.
Well, more wind, but like less going over your hood.
Sonic does get hurt at some point, right? Does he get hurt in this scene? What hurts him? Because all I remember next is that they're in San Francisco at the sister's house, and he needs them to help. And needs his wife Maddie to help.
He gets fucked up.
There's an explosion, right?
Oh, a grenade! There was a little grenade on the little baby fly drone.
Exactly.
Thing. It couldn't get off his hand. It was on.
That's right.
It was on Tom's hand, and
then on his forehead, and then I was actually expecting because it was stuck to Sonic's hand, which has a glove on it.
Yeah,
and I was expecting the joke of like, just take your glove off.
And then he has a spare one in his back pocket. He'll mention it. Like this, they don't give it crap. They're just like.
But you know why they didn't do that joke? Because they filmed that before they reanimated it, where he didn't have gloves to begin with. Remember?
Yeah,
he was just a little white paw, disgusting paw.
I bet you that was a discussion they had. They're like, do we have time to make this work, or do we just wing it?
They could have. I guess they could have done it where James Marsden comes in, does a quick VO line of like, just take your glove off. And they have that audio air while it's showing just Sonic. Because then they can do whatever they want with what
he
Sonic's
takes the glove off. And then like the next scene later, we see him with the glove on. He's like, oh, where'd you get the second glove? He'll be like,
I had another one.
I had another one in my back pocket.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't do that obvious joke. But yes, it blows up. That's what hurts Sonic. Tom's, I keep calling him by his actor's name. Maybe it's because we did 20 episodes where we called him James Marsden. At least I didn't call him by the Red Dead dude's name.
True.
Tom drives him to the beautiful San Francisco home of Maddie's sister, who hates Tom. We get the funny reveal that he's holding Sonic or whatever. They wake Sonic up. Maddie's niece notices that Sonic has been wearing these awful, ugly shoes. His toes, like
from like Payless or something. Yeah.
Why can't Sonic have stolen better shoes?
Because no one's throwing away. Because no one's throwing away good shoes.
I guess
he'd have to go. He would have to. But if he's that fast, he could just rob rob like a Fleet
And it's
Feet
for
or
a good
something.
cause.
It's for a good cause. Good
Exactly.
cause.
But she, this isn't necessarily sequential, but she grabs new shoes for him.
Some Pumas.
Surprised
yeah.
that they didn't say Pumas or anything like that. I was actually
It has
surprised.
you could see their logo on it, so I guess that's enough. They don't have to be like, check out my new Pumas. She looks at the camera.
Here's the thing: I didn't even actually notice the logo. I think that's how
it
brief
was on the. It was on like the
on
little
the little strap on the back.
yeah,
right?
or on the front of the lip there.
The tongue grabber.
Yeah.
In any case,
I think, by the way, those shoes, they did like a little video about it on their social media. People were mad if they weren't releasing them. They did release some shoes recently that were different from the other ones. Been releasing a lot of Sonic material, and I actually do like the most recent ones they did. I actually don't like the version they made. They made like actual shoes that weren't like when he like had them on his like the animation itself, because obviously they weren't real shoes. I actually liked it on him, but like they were too bold, I think, generally speaking. So I don't know if
too styrofoamy for me.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll. I'm sure they will come out with them after the movie's maybe been out for a couple.
Hey, if this movie does get a sequel, they probably will do another shoe line, I would imagine. So maybe they'll bring them in then.
Yeah.
In any case, let's kind of speed through this point. It's been almost an hour of recap. They wake Sonic up. Sonic's healed. He's better. Yay! Let's go. We need to go to San Francisco. They tie her sister up in her own house. That was a funny line. She says, "This is my house." As they're leaving.
Oh, at this point too, Tom is considered a domestic terrorist.
Oh, that's right.
Like they mentioned that in the hotel, and I want to talk about that later, but keep going.
That's right, because that's why they tied her up, because she was freaking out the fact that her sister married a terrorist. Yes, the United States government labeled him as a terrorist, responsible for the EMP. They call it a bomb, I guess. In any case, they go to San Francisco. They go to that building that we mentioned earlier, where the rings fell on top of, and again, for reasons, they don't have Sonic just run up and grab them. Sonic's like, oh, we need to actually go inside because whatever. Tom's like, time to abuse my power as a cop and say like, there's someone on the top about to jump. I need to take the slow elevator.
Pretty
all
messed
the way
up to do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 100%.
Out of all the jokes, I think that one was the
especially when that
one.
woman he talked to at the counter realizes it wasn't real and then puts two and two together and sees that he is the quote-unquote domestic terrorist. You know what I mean? That she let to the top of a building.
Yeah.
This is when we get the elevator jokes stuff. They actually cut the old ham sandwich line out. But that was probably the biggest pop for laughs in the movie, I think, in our audience. Where he's like, oh, it's a child. It's not my child. It's like, oh, see, he likes it in there.
And then Sonic says, like, while he's in the bag, he's like, at least it's not as bad as the cage you left me in.
The dog crate, yes.
Yeah, or whatever, yeah. I'm like, that is so funny. Messed up.
But
it was pretty good. It was really, really good.
I almost wish that he took the joke a bit further and like joked about like, oh, don't make me hurt you or something like that. Like kind of shake it a bit. Anyway, they're up at the top. Sonic gets the rings, and then this is where we get. I don't want to call this a cliche or a trope because this isn't a bad thing. People associate cliches with bad things.
This isn't a auteur film. It's okay. Like
this is a recurring thing in movies, and it's a positive thing where we have our main character who has been having this inner monologue in his head. Do I want to leave? Do I not want to leave? The B plot, right?
Mm.
He's going to miss so much. And he reflects that onto Tom, who, oh, by the way, in the truck, Sonic had a one-sided argument because when he learns that Tom is leaving Green Hill, and this ties into what I was saying. Tom is leaving Green Hill. Sonic knows all of these people, and he's upset. How could you do those to these people when he's really talking about himself, but not really realizing that he just means about himself? You know, like Tom's leaving him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back on the roof, it's the same kind of thing where Sonic is like, it's gonna suck saying goodbye to me. You're gonna leave. You know what I mean? You're losing a friend or whatever. But Sonic is actually talking out his feelings. You know what I mean? It's that kind of cliche trope kind of thing where we have our character do that. But then Robotnik shows up. Okay, cool. He's in his flying drone. He had powered his little not helicopter, his jet. We're gonna call it a jet.
Drone thing, yeah.
But he's flying it, so it's not a drone.
Yeah, I guess.
It
looks like a drone.
Yeah, it looks like one of his egg-shaped drones. This is where Sonic calls him Eggman. It's a very loose kind of like jump from, oh, they look like eggs, you must be the Eggman, instead of like in Sonic Adventure where he calls him Eggman because he's fat and looks like an egg. That's how they... Whatever. Robotnik has his jet powered by one of Sonic's quills. He calls it the prototype or whatever. So Sonic is like, I know what to do to save you. He pushes them off a building, Tom and Maddie off a building. He's going to throw the ring down. But he has some fun with, because we do another Quicksilver moment where time slows down and Sonic is moving at relatively normal speed. But because Robotnik's jet is powered by Sonic's quill, he's also able to move fast now. And Sonic does not expect this.
I will say, is cool, because I was like, in all the Sonic games and the Sonic cartoons, it's always like, you know how Sonic works, and their idea is always to, well, we'll shoot him. It's like, well, you can't shoot him. So like, I'm glad that they had this idea, because it made it, I guess, more realistic. And
it made the chase at the end feel like it was actually
legitimate.
Yeah.
He was actually running for his life.
Exactly. Tom and Maddie fall through the portal, which leads back to Green Hills, but it dissipates or something before Sonic falls through, or maybe he doesn't want to lead Robotnik through it. In any case, they run through the city. Now we get our we're all caught up moment that we, from the beginning, the flashback or like rewind. Now we're caught up to the present. Sonic makes a joke about it. I bet you want to know what happens next. Well, me too. We do, running through San Francisco. I'm actually surprised there was no City Escape anything reference. Maybe there was something visual in the background, but I would have. Yeah. I was so certain when watching that he was going to somehow have a snowboard and just, if for like half a second, snowboard or something. You know what I mean? That would have been enough for me.
Or he goes downhill because he's in San Francisco. There's a lot of hills.
Yeah, and everything they showed was flat. I'm like,
it's like downtown.
Almost...
Yeah, it was like downtown San Fran.
There is a moment, a reference. I knew going in that there was a reference to Super Smash Brothers. I'm like, what is he going to be like?
I heard about this, yeah.
Like, what could it be? I doubt you noticed, because I don't think you would have even have known what it was. But it was in this scene where I think it's a truck or something is rolling or explosion. Anyway, Sonic has to leap through the air at one moment, and he strikes a pose, which is his Super Smash Brothers for Wii U character art, key art pose, where Sonic has like 1 foot way up in the air or something. Like it's almost like a kick.
Yeah,
he
I
does.
wouldn't.
Or not his Wii U. It's actually his ultimate, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate key art pose. I recognize it, but it's really brief. I'm like, oh, that must have been the Smash Brothers reference. Apparently there's a visual reference where Sonic does the, when he stands on an edge and he's teetering on and off.
I wonder if that had to be during when he's on top of the building, right? Maybe we just missed it.
Yeah.
Where else would it have been? Where was he ever like leaning on an edge?
Right. Because I guess I expect a more profile side look. And I feel like that would have had to have been top down or front facing or back facing. In any case, the backwards teeter animation for Sonic Mania is actually really good. That's what I think of in any case. It's just now we get our moment briefly from the last trailer. Sonic is using rings to teleport around the planet, but Robotnik is just too fast and is catching up with him all the time. He's shooting at him, etc. It's a match of speed, and that's all Sonic has is speed. Now he's got to think, His villain is doing what he does. He can't outmatch him. He's got to outthink him. So Sonic's like, if you can't beat him, blind him, which is not even remotely close to what the saying is, nor is it a rhyme or anything that you could...
And this was in Egypt,
the desert, yes.
Yeah. I was
Near
hoping
one of the Seven Wonders.
I was hoping for just a deeper for Death Chamber. Like, I know it was a very, very long shot and they didn't give it to us, but I was hoping like even if he ran by something that had like a hieroglyphic on it or something.
That was a texture from the pyramid stages.
Give me something, man. Or Chaos Emeralds or something, yeah.
Pyramid Cave was the name of the Sonic level, and Death Chamber was the name of the Knuckles level. So I guess if anything, they probably would have named it after the Sonic level. But in any case, remember when he fights that giant rock golem in the pyramid too?
That level sucks.
That boss fight's terrible. So is the game. But not the movie. Back to the movie, folks. Sonic decides he's going to blind him by putting up a whirlwind, a dust tornado or whatever around Robotnik. Doesn't really work out all that well. And then I guess they end up back in Green Hills.
Yeah, they go through a couple different spots that only he knows because he has to think about it.
Yeah, and I guess you could say like heat of the moment. What does he think of? Maybe he's thinking about the safety of his friends, so he thinks about Green Hills or something. Because I guess my nitpick is, why would you bring the fight?
You
want to
go home?
Where you know
want
your
run
friends
away.
are?
Yeah, he probably just trying to run.
Exactly. We already established that he's not in super control of his mental state or something. He is supposed to be a kid that is so hyperactive. You know what I mean? So it's excusable, right? It's a flaw that's excusable for what the movie is. Anyway, they're back in Green Hills, and then we get what I think is the effects of the budget coming in, where it is basically just a standoff on one street, with not a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, Sonic and James Marsden basically hurt the jet enough and knock it through a portal to the mushroom place.
But
is there anything
there
from
was
the
that
scene
cool shot? There's this cool shot though, right when Sonic gets injured after doing the dust storm thing. I forgot. I think he gets hurt or something, but he like basically falls back into Montana, and of course,
yes.
Everyone is already in town for whatever reason, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's a cool shot where the egg copter, like the portal is, it
slowly comes out.
Yeah, and he slowly comes out. That was cool. I really like that. They actually did some cool, just some cool shots in this last couple of moments here.
And I think that shot helped solidify it, because up until then, it's been a lot of high action in a fast moving thing. So there's no like real gravity to what the destruction that the two characters are causing.
They also killed people, by the way, in San Francisco.
For sure, but we move so fast that you don't think you know what I mean.
Or at
exactly.
Least Dr. Robotnik, because he shot missiles and blew up multiple
Sonic
cars.
doesn't do anything, but Sonic also doesn't try to save anyone. So he's just as implicit as Superman in Man of Steel. Anyway, so like I was saying, like now we're at a moment where there's people around. And like he has so many missiles on that thing, we need to really establish that this thing is more menacing than what you might think of in the previous scenes.
They make it look big, and
so that's
Sonic
why
again
it's big, it's moving slowly, it's menacing. Sonic is hurt, so we already are in danger mode for at least Sonic. But now, like he could, if for some reason, if Robotnik wanted, he could destroy the town with this thing.
Yeah.
Earlier they make fun of his outfit. Actually, they even mentioned Comic-Con or what's your cosplay. I thought that was funny.
His outfit was dope.
Yeah,
I actually liked all his. I did like all the outfits for.
I like the fact that his earlier jacket has slits in the back. Because he at one point he extends it. Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. This is way earlier in the moment. This is when he's dancing while his machines are examining the quill and it's playing music or whatever. I didn't really care for this too much. I believe it's in that moment, but there's a moment where the camera's upside down, it slowly turns up, and then it like starts revolving around him. That legitimately gave me nausea. Really? I was actually like motion sick after watching that. I was like, why? Like for some reason, I don't know if I focused on something. It was weird for me. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, is there anything from this final battle that you want to point out? Because honestly, it was
back to like just cool shots. Like I say, all my favorite shots within that 45 seconds there. There's one shot where there's one shot where he puts those like glasses on and it's like red and blue, almost like 3D glasses. And this is when Sonic like gets back up and he's all like super Sonic or whatever you want to call him. There's a cool shot with like him reflecting on his glasses, but then there's one shot where it shows him standing up to him, and then it still has the egg copter, but you can still kind of see him in it, and he just looks scary. And I'm like, that is dope. Like they made him look, the most menacing he's been in the entire film. And that's when I really feel that he became Eggman.
Eggman, yep.
And there was even a part where he
calling him Eggman at this point, but now I think it's because we kept speculating how much of a change is he going to have. Is he going to start off as like a kooky dude and become a maniac? And I think, like you're saying, this does happen.
And then when Sonic gets super powered up, he basically does a boss battle kind of thing on him, and then
hits him a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, and then he hits Robotnik into the mushroom.
They needed
worlds.
Tom to do something in this because he is like one of the main characters.
He's also
so they had him. Yeah, so they had him throw the ring.
But As I will say, as he went into the portal, because Jim was doing mostly classic Jim, I think for most of it, he wasn't really trying to be Robotnik. But I will say the last couple minutes there, I feel like he really became what I know of Robotnik. And I could have sworn when he was getting hit into the mushroom world, he did like a scream that sounded like classic Robotnik, like if he got beaten or something like that in the video games. Maybe they did use a sound effect from a game or something because it sounded so familiar. And I feel like he lowered his voice more once we get to the one cutscene where where he's in the mushroom world place. And he's like basically becoming a survivalist. And I actually like that scene a lot. It's really cool. He's like, if anyone can survive this, it's me. Yeah, maybe we'll get a sequel that's just that. Him trying to get back.
Oh, let's not try to make a film universe where we have a Robotnik solo movie, please. We don't need to see that.
Give it.
But in a less capable man would perish or something. He says. Yeah. So he says something like that.
But I love how his mustache becomes the true.
Exactly.
And he's bald because he's trying to survive. Trying not to sweat or whatever it is. I don't know why, but it's just like that was.
He's just crazy now.
Yeah, I like that. I'm like, and he looked like he gained a little weight too. I don't know if you. They even
established I feel like established it pretty well that he is crazier than he thinks because he's talking to himself, which obviously Sonic had done that before because he's lonely. But
it's over the
now
top.
Now Robotnik is too, but he's like being like I think he even says something about like. People might call me crazy or something like that, but like he clearly is. He's talking to Agent Stone, who's an actual rock now. Like he made it. So the day is saved, and I guess we just cut to them repainting the house.
Yeah, they were building everything. Oh, and Tom isn't leaving to San Francisco because now he realizes that
feels like he has a place to belong.
So,
yeah. Which. There's a joke when they're
go extend your career, Tom. Come on, just kidding.
Exactly. There's a joke that Tom and Maddie make while they're painting, and I forgot what it was, but it actually made me laugh. But then maybe I forgot about it because Tom goes to paint over a spot that's already painted.
Second coat.
He starts in the middle of the wall. Whatever. That's when a government official dude shows up, gives them the Olive Garden gift card. There we go. That's the word. They're like, yay, we love the Olive Garden. It's their endless possible is endless. It's not actually endless because if they run out of materials, then they can't make it.
And they get away scot-free. Even though if this happened in real life, Tom would still be like, most people would probably still think Tom was a domestic terrorist.
I mean, the damage was caused in San Francisco.
Yeah, even if everything worked out well, he probably isn't getting a job in San Francisco. Like they're like, actually, like as soon as the news came out that he was a domestic terrorist, they're like, can we send a letter?
I think maybe the government did because there's a kind of a throwaway line where they say Robotnik never existed. I think they changed the story, then changed like the media narrative or whatever, so that nope, that was all Robotnik and he's gone or whatever. Like this,
yeah.
I think they cleared his name, honestly, which is reward enough, but. And hey, they get to go to Olive Garden and spend $50. Even the handwriting on the gift card was like kind of poor. That's like it was a fun joke,
and then we find out Sonic is living with them in the attic.
They give him a bedroom in the attic, and I'm like, God damn it, he's not even. He used to live in the attic.
And they said that it's a school night, so he is actually going to school. But yet they say don't talk about the alien, the government. So I'm like, but they're still sending him to school. But maybe he puts on a disguise. Or something, so
yeah,
no
I wonder
one knows.
what they'll do.
Because he was in a disguise in the bar, and everyone just like was okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like
which I was okay with. I was okay with it because it reminded me of the cartoons that we watched. So I'm glad we watched them because maybe we would have been upset about that. But after watching those cartoons, I'm like, no, he's done that in the cartoons. That's actually classic Sonic in terms of entertainment.
And I'm glad they did it that way because if they really wanted to stress over people. Obviously telling that he's a blue spiky thing, it would have been hard for them to write that whole scene. So like I'm okay with them just like people just don't recognize him as a thing that isn't human,
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole school night thing was just to set up a joke about him saying it's only 3 p.m. It's 3 in the afternoon and he's got to go to sleep. They can't watch a movie at 3 in the afternoon. When I wake up on a day off, when I woke up today, Devin?
What?
I woke up at 11:30.
I can't do
All
that
right.
anymore. I wake up at
All right.
8 almost every day now.
3 p.m. is like I'm eating breakfast. Not really. Anyway, yeah, and I guess the movie kind of ends, right?
Yeah. I
Like-
mean, no, it and the credits come up and the credits are really cool.
Well, before the credits.
Oh,
Before we get to that.
I think that was it. Kind of ends. Oh yeah, ends with him being like talking to the
Oh,
dog.
the dog is licking him off camera. That's right. That was actually a poor way to end it, but whatever. He finally has a family. This is actually one. Sorry. So they reanimated this, right? And I want to know what this one scene. The last time we see Tom, Maddie, and Sonic on screen is that Tom and Maddie sit on either side of Sonic on his race car bed, which is fitting. And then the camera pans out the window, right? And that's when the dog comes on, but even though we don't see him. I want to know what that scene looked like with the old animation more than any other part in this entire movie. I want to know what this creepy Sonic looked like next to James Marsden. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. Then we get the credits, and they're pretty dope, to be honest.
Because they had it in what looked like, the maybe Sonic 2 animation. Obviously, it was changed a little bit, but looked like he was going through a level. But it was the plot. The plot,
yeah,
which was cool.
Environments from the movie. There's that song which you liked, which I didn't really care for all that much, that they made for the movie. Then we get our mid-credit scene, or I guess our only credit scene, which was like a pop-off moment. Basically, Tails has his own portal thing comes.
As soon as they cut to it and it showed wind, I'm like, it's gonna be someone from But then the thing was, I was less shocked because of what they showed in the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Exactly.
If they didn't have any of that,
if they didn't show the echidnas,
it might have been.
I was okay with the owl because the owl looked realer than Sonic does and the echidnas does. But if they didn't show the echidnas, I would have been like, wow, they actually did do it. But you're right, because they showed the echidnas, I wasn't like not expecting it.
I was still hyped.
Oh, for sure, and it was a great moment. We discussed this in the theater, but we're pretty sure that that's the actual current voice actor of Tails,
or someone that sounds exactly like
because
the OG one. Yeah,
let's say movie politics right now. They haven't greenlit a sequel. They usually announce as soon as they greenlit a sequel to a movie that that they did it. You know what I mean? Mm. It's not like a video game thing where they keep it secret until they want to let you know, right? So I doubt that they had been having a search for an actor to play Tails in the sequel. You know what I mean? So I don't think what we heard was the actor that's going to play Tails.
If there was,
unless they actually do get the original or get the current game actor for Tails to play Tails, but.
It's probably more of a cameo. It's probably more of a cameo than it would be an official thing.
Exactly.
But this, I think, it was just a tease to tell people, be like, if this movie does well, we're not opposed to
and just like
the
games, the first one is just Sonic, and then the second one has him in Tails. Like,
that'd be cool.
It was great. He had like some little computer thingy with him, just like in the recent games. He always has like this weird yellow tablet thingy.
And he looked good.
Great.
He
did look good.
Now the question is, did they have that originally in it prior to the original animation?
I think just like how we suspect there was no Baby Sonic until the reanimation, that there was no Tails until the reanimation. How much do you think it honestly costs them to do the Tails thing?
I think that might have been a makeup thing for them. Been like, hey, we messed up. Let's give them Tails.
Like, Sonic fans are pissed at us. So let's do something for Sonic fans, you know. Yeah. Baby Sonic, by the way, we saw that full scene because we did an entire episode on Baby Sonic. Maybe we should mention, what do we think about the Baby Sonic?
We just thought it was all right. Yeah, it was like at best. But like, it was exactly what we thought it was. It was going to be in the movie either in the beginning or it was just going to be a quick thing. And it was super quick. Exactly. It wasn't like it was half the movie or anything like that. Trying to pull people in because the new hype marketing thing to do is make a baby version of something. We saw an ad in the movie theater for Baby Target Dog,
which has a name. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I assumed it was, it's a dog. Whatever. Any case, the movie's over. We watched the rest of the credits. I really had to pee. Really had to pee. I had to pee so bad. But I held it in for Sonic. So now is there anything, overall thoughts about the movie that we can spoil and talk about that we might not have held or not might have mentioned because the non-spoiler section. I'm kind of rambling here because I'm extremely tired. It's 12:16 in the morning.
I mean, I feel like we jumped in at parts. I mean, I definitely want to see it a second time and look for more different things. But generally speaking, I feel like we covered everything. I don't know. Maybe we should look out for more Easter eggs. I didn't really see as many as I thought I would see, which I'm okay with. I didn't need it to be fan servicey. So,
while we haven't 100% nailed down what the next episode is, our plan, if I recall, if you're in agreement, is to see the movie again, do more detailed notes about the movie, and really dive into specific Sonic parts.
Yeah, and see if our opinion changes on it too. Like, see if we know actually this sucked.
Exactly. So then perhaps what we'll do is we'll look at all of the references online. I'm sure there's already a list being compiled. Isolate what those are, and then watch for when they happen in the movies, and kind of have more of an opinion on those. I also agree with you that I'm excited to see a movie because, maybe we can spend an episode being like, what could the sequel be about?
Definitely do one of those. Yeah.
Obviously, our boy Tails is going to be in it. And Sonic's happy life is going to somehow be upended. Dr. Robotnik is going to have to return. Maybe they'll bring in Shadow. Who knows? Maybe they'll just stick to just Sonic and Tails. I hope the movie does really well for them. I hope
they did. After because we've been part of this ride, kind of not with them. We didn't do all the crazy hard work that the animators did that got fired and laid off. But I hope that at least they can pride themselves on the fact that they had a lot of negativity towards them, especially from the get-go with, because once again, Sonic is already kind of has Sonic is crap, reputation, for the last, how long, since I've known Sonic, but, so they already had that against them, and then they're like, hey, we're doing a movie. Video game movies have sucked, except for Detective Pikachu.
Which they didn't know.
You could argue maybe some other movies, but generally speaking, they're all pretty much bad or not respected. So you have that, and then you drop the first trailer, and the design is awful. Yeah. And it sounded like it was going to come out. They were going to stick with it, and then all of a sudden, nope, we're pushing it back, and then we get it. A new design, everyone's kind of hyped, but everyone's like, no, the movie's still going to be bad. People are going to see this for the joke, and I'm sure there were some people in our crowd who saw it for a joke or whatnot. But you know what? They did it. And I'm so proud of them. I think I don't know any of them, but if I did, I'd be like, great fucking job, because it also made this show. Not that the show's ending, but it just made worth it. Yeah, it's like season 1 ending. It made it worth. It made the climax worth it. It really did. Because imagine if we went into it, it was god awful, and we just come in here and crap on the movie. Yeah, it'd be funny, but at the same time, it wouldn't feel as rewarding. Being like, we did 10 months worth of this show to build up to this moment,
baby.
Yeah, it's content, and it was genuinely really fun, and it. What have we said from the beginning? We want to come out of the theater being like, it doesn't have to be great or anything, but we want it to be like, hey, we had fun and it was good. And it did those things. If anything, it exceeded both our expectations. So I don't think we could have asked for anything better. This is exciting, and also puts pressure now on the Mario movie. We had 2 back-to-back decent video game movies. Video games right now are kind of in a golden age, you can argue, in the sense that the average person is playing, Fortnite, or people are aware of, the Nintendo Switch, or everyone owns one. We're kind of in that, video games are really popular. We're having new consoles coming out. So if the movies can get good, then we're definitely in a golden age for sure.
I agree with that.
That's kind of my thoughts, that I feel like it's so weird that a Sonic movie could do this, but if Sonic can pull it off, we could make a good Tomb Raider movie or something.
All right, now don't get sentimental. It's just the Blue Hedgehog. I echo everything you just said. I think the movie was a blast. I think it's been worth it doing this podcast. Next week will be another episode of the Sonic Movie Show. which you can follow on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. You can follow me on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely. You can go ahead and follow Devin on Twitter at Cursona YouTube. That is Cursona YouTube. You could find the show on Apple Podcasts as well as the Google Play Music Store and even YouTube. Just simply search The Sonic Movie Show. Next week, we're going to be doing, hopefully, another review of the Sonic movie. I joked... Devin is definitely not into it. I joked about having the next 8 episodes be we saw the movie again. Here's another
until
review.
It's not in theaters anymore.
Exactly. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but we're going to do at least one more review, probably just one more review, and you'll hear more about the future of the show on that episode.
We'll probably have it'll either be next episode or maybe we'll have one standalone episode. It's just okay, what now? Because
exactly.
We could maybe do one episode on the a Blu-ray version and watch extra.
Well, we won't see
features
that
or
for
something.
another 3 months.
Exactly.
But in any case, while you're at those locations watching and listening to the show, why don't you give us a like, give us a review, give us a comment, give us a 5-star rating. Those really matter to us.
And if you're a random person who just jumped in just for this review and you're interested, I would highly recommend going back and listen to some of our old ones and just see how wrong or maybe correct we are. I will say that I think we got most of it right, but
we got more right than we got wrong.
Yes, but there was we had some crazy theories at some point, and it's gonna. I actually am curious now that maybe in a couple of years I'll go back and listen just to be man, we had some crazy thoughts,
Yeah.
And it's a journey. Definitely is a journey. It's a good one though. It's a good ending, but a good finish. So I'm actually genuinely really happy.
Me too. Well, until next week, this has been your host of the Sonic Movie Show, signing off. We said see you on the other side. Well, we're glad you made it. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good morning, my rural chum. Wait, I'm going to say that again. I'll say it again. Good morning, my rural chum.
You put an R in chum.
I know.
One more time.
Good morning, my rural chum. How does he say it?
Chum.
Ready, here we go. Here's my Jim Carrey impression.